Welcome to Workout Masters, Healthy Living episode number 41. This is Ruben and
you're Aram.
Exactly. I'm a little hyper, I guess. Guys, we're going to talk today about grass-fed beef. And the reason is I find it's one of the most excellent products on the planet if you use it correctly. Let's tear it apart.
Let me ask you, Aram. Is there anything else other than grass-fed beef?
What?
I'm asking you, is there anything else besides grass-fed beef?
Oh, well, this is the whole problem in this whole world.
There you go.
We end up having a product that's named for one thing, and I don't know why even they call it a beef. I wouldn't call anything besides grass-fed beef a beef, but unfortunately, these days, even like they call it organic food, where though it's a food and everything else is non-food.
Right. Basically, a food is anything that you put into your mouth and doesn't kill you.
No, I absolutely agree. I think it's kind of a shame that we use the terms to define a good food, where though the terms that are defining good food used for some garbage food these days, but nonetheless the society's made this way, so we have to roll according to the society rules for right now. And
it's funny when you go to a restaurant and you look into the menu and you see like grass-fed beef. I'm like, whoa, we're making some changes. They tell you organic beef.
I went to like a steakhouse and asked the lady, I was like, do you have grass-fed beef? And she looked at me like, no, we have a excellent corn-fed beef. And she said it proudly. I was like, oh, well.
Little does she know.
Little she knows that she just pretty much ruined the steak for me.
Absolutely.
No, not really. I mean, I didn't expect to find a grass-fed beef in a steakhouse. But just the fact that corn-fed beef these days considered to be a norm, and you know, something to be proud of is quite sad.
Right, and I mean, if you go back to the basis of nature, you know, with the cows, same thing with goats and sheep, you know, they're herbivores. That means that they only should eat, should is the key word, should eat grass. Grass being, you know, what they really need, not anything else. And we do not give them any grass whatsoever unless, you know, the cattle ranchers or whatever, they're conscious enough to realize that that type of animal is only eating, you know, grass and nothing but grass. The problem that we have is nowadays, you know, animals are pretty much raised in warehouses or very confined spaces, and everything is, you know, fed through a feedlot, and they give them everything but grass.
Ultimately, cattle business is a business. And within the cattle business, it's very important to get a cattle from the little one to the slaughter age as fast as possible.
Absolutely. And
get them as big as possible. Nobody truly cares about your health, guys, so just always remember it. Well, people that generally raise a regular cattle don't really care about your health.
Of course we do care about your health.
We do care about health. There's a lot of excellent farmers, and God bless them. Thank you very much for doing the hard work you guys do. There's a lot of farmers that do care. Unfortunately, as in the main industry, the industry itself doesn't really care. Otherwise, we wouldn't have all this garbage on the shelves.
And just because it looks like meat, it's not really meat actually. It's something else that we have. I'm short of words to describe what it is without getting really offensive, and I'm not, you know, scientifically, you know, trained enough to be able to call it something else. In the meantime, we just call it, you know, pseudo meat.
Exactly. So ultimately, the cattle, the cow, if you let it go out in the field and let him choose what to eat, they ultimately going to go and eat grass because they truly don't like soy, they don't like corn, they don't like licking cement or anything of that sort. They're generally going to go and help themselves to antibiotics or shoot themselves with the hormones. Therefore, the ultimate food for cow is grass and grass only. And therefore, if you want to have a healthy life and a healthy body, you want to invest in the best food on earth, and one of it will be grass-fed beef.
Absolutely. There's going to be some smart asses out there because, well, what do they eat in the winter? Well, there's actually snowing outside. They eat hay. It's actually another grass that they grow specifically to feed the animals in the winter, just in case you're thinking that. Because I know there's a couple smarty pants out there that they're looking for that angle to make this.
So what's the benefits of a grass-fed?
Well, grass-fed the animal to begin with, the animal is going to be healthy.
A healthy animal, that's already a benefit. If it's a healthy animal, you eat the flesh of it, you will be healthier too.
One of the main complaints that that the animal, not that they tell us, but obviously we can see it, has is that there's locked up in this confined space. They have barely any sunlight whatsoever, which is going to create a vitamin and a mineral deficiency on the animal. Since they live confined, and they live up to pretty much their knees and waste products, there's a lot of infections. So, the ranchers, in order to maintain the animals healthy, they have to shoot them with, massive dosages of antibiotics. And they're pretty much the same antibiotics that we use ourselves, meaning in general, when we have any type of infection. So, unbeknownst to us, when we, commercially raise meat, we're getting, some dosage to a degree of the same antibiotics that they're actually using on the animals, which are very, very similar to the ones they use for human, usage. And if they treat these animals with any type of hormone treatment to make them grow faster, we'll get that too. And that can create a whole other host of problems, because like I was discussing before the episode today with Aram, when you change one hormone slightly, you change everything along with it, right? So making a change in a hormone can
and today we'll see a lot of clients have some sort of a hormonal issue. It's pretty rampant all over the place. You'll see a lot of it. Unfortunately, it is related. At least I do believe so. Yeah. So this is the thing. A lot of just the regular beef that they sell, commercial beef, is loaded with what's called omega-6 fatty acids.
Yes.
Grass-fed beef is a lot higher what's called omega-3 fatty acids. And you do want to have a good ratio of omega-3 versus omega-6, and the grass-fed beef is the perfect source to provide yourself with more omega-3s and less omega-6, which unfortunately is prevalent in today's society.
Yeah.
That's one of the things. Another thing, if you eat fat from a grass-fed cow, it is actually a healthy saturated fat. It will be excellent for you. You should by no means go out of your way to consume it. What else?
It's mostly omega-3 for us. I mean, there's going to be omega-6 and omega-9, etc. on it. But the ratios that usually they work out really, they happen to work out really good for human consumption, which is usually like a 1-to-3 ratio.
Now, you can purchase grass-fed beef in a lot of supermarkets these days. This is the thing that I love. For the last 10 years I've been doing it. I remember 10 years ago you would say somebody grass-fed beef and everybody kind of look at you like, where, what?
What else?
What are you talking about? Yeah. No, 10 years ago?
No,
nobody really knew what it is.
Exactly. It says,
where do you find it? Yeah. Now, at least these days, you go to supermarkets and you see, like in Florida, you can go to Publix. It's not a wild selection of it, but you can buy a grass-fed ground beef. So at least it's there. You go to places like a Whole Foods or Fresh Market out here in Florida also, you can buy a grass-fed beef. So there's excellent places you can, I'm sure Trader Joe's in California and other places that carry grass-fed beef. So this is what I love to see. I see that people actually demand the product, and as we demand the product, they have no choice but to deliver the product. More we can demand a high quality food that we deserve, a more high quality food you will be able to buy in a supermarket close to you.
Absolutely. The demand will create the supply, and the supplies will have to be met because it's a way to create business.
So one of the things that Ruben and I want to do, we want to create a more awareness so people go out of their way to look for good food. And more good people looking for good food, and more of this food available, and more of this garbage food will be out of the window.
Correct.
Yep. Excellent source for finding a farmers. It's always a good idea to buy food directly from farmers. There's a website called eatwild.com. Has an excellent source of farmers, people that actually love doing what they do. They're not doing it just because of money, they do it because that's their passion. That's what they've been doing for generations. Go out of your way, find a farm close to you, call them, talk to the owners, order the beef from them. And definitely enjoy it. It's always made with love.
Absolutely. Quite often what occurs while telling people and making the recommendations that they eat better quality food, especially talking about in the subject of grass-fed, they say, well, that stuff is usually very expensive. And I say to them, not so. And there's one particular reason why. because the nutrient content that grass-fed beef or grass-fed any animal per se has in comparison to their counterparts, which it will be the commercially raised. So let's say hypothetically, as a figure to get some numbers straight out, whatever protein grass-fed has for that price, if you actually do the equation and you have the commercial at the price that it costs, always the grass-fed comes on top as far as the best ratio of quality per dollar. And it's very important that you see that, because you say, well, I can only have a steak. But if you have a steak that weighs, let's say, 10 ounces, and those 10 ounces actually is garbage, and then the other steak, is 10 ounces, but it costs twice as much, which I'm not saying that that's the case oftentimes, but you're getting all the nutrition that is meant to be in there, where in the other steak that was much cheaper, there is none. Or it's actually nutrition that, well, I wouldn't call it nutrition, or it's actually a sort of a poison that's actually working against you because of the high omega-6, because of the potential, appearance of antibiotics and growth hormone, and blah, 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 that you don't have to have in your body, that actually is going to detriment your health and that you need to avoid like the plague.
Absolutely. This is the thing. If you just go to the supermarket and buy grass-fed beef, the premium costs tend to be on the higher side that you pay. You pay premium for it.
Right.
If you go to your local farmer and you buy a higher quantity, let's say a quarter of the cow, a half of the cow, or even a whole cow, which is, if you have a big family, that's not a lot. Even if you don't have a big family, I'm sure you have a lot of friends, you can always share. So you can buy different cuts together as a wholesale price, and it's generally a whole lot less expensive.
Yeah, it could be a few dollars a pound.
Yeah, I think you can, like I bought a few times, it runs you about $5–6 a pound altogether. Right. Delivered to your house for highest quality grass-fed beef.
Butchered and packed.
Butchered and packed, definitely. They're not going to ship you a cow.
Good luck taking care of that.
When we say half a cow, that doesn't mean the half a cow just delivered to your door.
Right.
It's always cut on the USDA facilities and things like that.
Packed, and labeled and separated, so you know exactly what you have and how you can pull it out of the freezer and start defrosting it in a per needed basis. But yeah, like I said, go into those cow shares with other people. Go to a food co-op. Take part of of the progression of making things more available for you. At the beginning, it does take a little bit of footwork. You have to ask here, you have to ask there, you have to get certain recommendations. So you make sure that you're getting what you pay for, which is very important. But it's easier. And it gets easier every year that I've been in the business.
Absolutely.
And it's more available.
Yeah. Ultimately, people are not really very healthy. We do want to get healthier. And one of the ways to get healthier is to get this beautiful, healthy food available for a majority of us. So please, guys, go out of your way to invest in the best food on earth.
Absolutely.
You have anything else?
I think that covers just about most of the points that we wanted to come across.
All right, guys. Your future looks better already. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.